The secret to life in 2 words. Are you ready? Joy, growth. Let me explain. Create a life where you prioritize work, activities, and people that bring you joy and or growth. Here's my definition of joy. Work, activities, or people that bring you happiness. Here's my definition of growth. Work, activities, or people that bring you progress and or achievement, fulfillment, and give you purpose. You can apply this joy growth formula, this joy growth filter to relationships, fitness activities, your nutrition, books, movies, or music, your work, hobbies, or activities, your job or career. I'm going to propose 2 very simple questions to make this as simple as possible for all of us to understand and do. Does this bring me joy and or growth? It's question number 1. Does this bring me joy and or growth? The magic is when you can combine the 2 into 1. Let me give you some examples from my life. An exercise example. I enjoy training in mixed martial arts. Boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. It brings me joy to do that. I enjoy learning about it. I enjoy practicing it. I enjoy participating in it. I enjoy the people I do it with. It also brings me growth. I get in better shape. I learn a practical life skill of being able to defend myself or defend others. It improves my health. And I also enjoy teaching it to others who wish to learn. That's an form of exercise that brings me joy and or growth. I also enjoy resistance training. That also brings me growth. Identify an exercise that brings you both joy and growth because you're far more likely to do it if you enjoy it. It could be martial arts. It could be yoga. It could be resistance training, running, swimming, biking, group fitness classes, Tai Chi. Choose a few that bring you both joy and growth. Okay, let me give you another example from my life. The work I do as a coach, consultant, trusted advisor. It brings me joy to see people dramatically improve their performance, achieve life-changing breakthrough goals, and make radical transformations. That brings me joy to see that, to be a small part of it. I enjoy the people I serve. I enjoy all the great CEOs and executives and entrepreneurs, doctors, professional athletes, college students, all the great people I get to serve. It brings me joy to learn about the mindsets and habits of high performance. It brings me joy to learn about elite level business strategy. It brings me joy to learn about the best of the best leadership practices. So I enjoy learning about it. It also brings me growth to learn about these things because I can apply these to my own life as well. And I can teach these to my incredible clients as well. Being a high performance coach brings me growth because every session I learn something from the great people I get to work with. I learn things from them and I also learn how to be a better coach. So that's an example of work from my life. An example of hobbies from my life. I love to read. I love biographies. I love books on leadership and business and high performance, performance psychology, mental health, health and fitness, relationship, spirituality. I love to read. I love to learn. It brings me joy. It also brings me growth because I can apply what I learned to my own life and be a better son, brother, uncle, family member, friend, community member, and coach. It helps me grow in those areas so I can be better for the people I care about the most. Relationships. Okay, I prioritize relationships that bring me joy and growth. Everyone in my life brings me joy and or growth, and at this point, both. Okay, I'm very scrutinous about my relationships. I set a high standard for the relationships I'm in terms of people who are committed to two things: excellence and service in everything they do. That's who I want to surround myself with. To be worthy of those type of high quality relationships, the highest quality relationships, I need to be someone who's committed to excellence and service of others. Okay. But my filter, I'm very fortunate. My parents, who I'm very close to, they bring me extreme joy to spend time with them and also growth. They teach me new things. They challenge me to be my best. Okay. They model the best of the best mindsets and habits and life strategies for me. So I get growth from them as well. So think about in your life, my challenge to you is think about in those areas, your work, your hobbies, your health and fitness, your relationships. Prioritize those people, places, things, activities, work that brings you joy and growth. Okay. In order to be worthy of those who will bring you joy and growth in your life, you must be someone who brings others joy and growth. Okay. You've got to, what you give is what you get in life, 9 times out of 10. So be someone who brings joy and growth to others. That will also bring you joy to serve others. Second question: what would the highest and best version of myself do? Okay. I call it the elevated question. The elevated choice is this: there's two choices we can make in life, okay, that are elevated, that I found over 20 plus years of research and practice, study, teaching. These are the two elevated choices that lead to the most joy and growth. They lead to excellence and they lead to service of others. And that is, here's your two elevated choices: be kind and useful. That's joy. Okay, that will bring you joy. The second elevated choice: do hard things. That will bring you growth. Okay, the elevated choice falls under two key criteria. One, be kind and useful. Two, do hard things. Ask yourself, what would the highest and best version of myself do? You know what it is. The highest version of yourself would be kind and useful to others. The best version of yourself would do hard would be to one who does hard things. What are some examples of hard things? Have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Do the exercise you don't feel like doing that day. Eat the healthy foods instead of the junk food. Fearlessly ask for what you need in life. Ask for the raise. Ask for the promotion. Ask for the sale if you're in business. Ask your boss for the resources you need to succeed. Challenge yourself every day in some way. Take the steps instead of the elevator. Do hard things. What would the highest and best version of myself do? Another hard choice would be to forgive others. That can be hard at times to forgive. That's an elevated choice. Assert yourself when you need to. Stand up for yourself. That's doing hard things. Say no. That can be hard for many people. Saying no to commitments that don't have to do with their top priorities in life, the things that bring them joy, the most joy and growth. Saying no to solicitations of their time and attention. Saying no to a favor. Do hard things. Two great books. Here's a great book on growth by Dr. Stan Beecham. It's called Elite Minds. He's one of my favorite performance psychologists. Here's a great book on joy, The How of Happiness by Dr. Sonja Lyubomirsky. Two great books, one on growth, one on joy. Let's break down joy and then we'll break down growth. Joy is do work that you enjoy, do activities you enjoy, spend time with people you enjoy. Bring joy and growth to others. Here's a thought from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Here's a quote from a mentor of mine, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, one of the best, most respected experts on leadership and performance in the world. I always have a question. Is my life better off or worse off because I met this person? So Maya Angelou, the great poet, the great thought leader, she talks about bringing joy to others, right? Making people feel better because you're around. Marshall Goldsmith talks about being scrutinous in terms of who you spend your time with. John Wooden, legendary coach, ESPN coach of the century, says happiness begins where selfishness ends. So be scrutinous in terms of who you bring into your life. Do they bring you joy or growth and growth? And also bring joy and growth to others. Here's some thoughts on growth. Progress equals happiness. So think about making progress in life, getting 1% better than yesterday, a little smarter, a little tougher, a little better than yesterday. Growth is about giving 100%, 100% of the time, as Greg Harden, the great performance coach, talks about, giving your best effort. Also, progress equals fulfillment. Now, we're more fulfilled when we're making progress. Here's a great question from the lifting coach, Jerzy Gregorek. If you are ever at the crossroads of making a difficult decision, always ask yourself, what is the hard choice? Then take that path. What a great litmus test that is. Thank you, Jerzy. Here's a great thought from Ginny Rometty. She was a retired CEO of IBM. Growth and comfort will never coexist. So we want to stretch ourselves a little bit outside our comfort zone every day. Sometimes a lot, but a little is all you need. 1 to 5% outside your comfort zone every day compounds over time. Get a little tougher, a little smarter, a little better, a little sharper. Here's some thoughts from my mentor, Dr. Jason Selk. I believe he's the #1 expert in the world on both success and happiness. And Jason tells us, I believe happiness is the #1 measure of success. And here's some thoughts on happiness from Jason. When you help people, there is tremendous give back. In the mental health field, they talk about the difference between joy and happiness. Joy is when you are watching a baseball game and your team wins. That is joyous. Once that game is over or the season is over, that joy is gone. But happiness stays with you. The studies on this are pretty clear. You don't really get that happiness that stays with you unless you are giving back, helping other people, creating something. It really comes down to putting energy into something that gives back, whether it be a human being or you are working on a cancer cure. So what Jason's talking about in terms of happiness is give back to others in some way, whether it's the person in front of you or creating something great that could help others. Now, I think joy and happiness are both important. Do things that bring you joy, that you enjoy, and also equally as important, if not more important, serve others. Right? Bring joy and growth to others. Here's some thoughts from Dr. Stan Beecham. He wrote the book we talked about earlier, Elite Minds. And Stan has a different perspective on what we should prioritize: happiness versus fulfillment and purpose. And here's a story from Stan. I talked to a leukemia patient when he was in the hospital, and he said, well, I'm going to get a T-cell transplant because the doctor said if I can do that, I can live 3 more months, end quote. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, well, I want to go to the beach one more time and sit on the back porch with my dogs, end quote. You think these people that have a couple of months, they want to go to Disney World, and no, they don't. They just want to chill and just take it all in. There's a lesson in that some of the best, sweetest stuff is really just basic, like being around people that you love and trying to help people that you love, and maybe even help people that are strangers to you. When people have a little bit at a time, a little bit of time left, that's what they want to do. You get really clear about what's important. You don't need to be entertained. You don't need to be wild or dazzled. I want to sit on my back porch with my dogs. Here's another thought from Dr. Beecham on meaning and purpose, he says, what gives life meaning and purpose is not the result that you get, the reward. It's really the journey, the process. And then if you have a life that's full of meaning and purpose, then you come to the conclusion that you have a good life. The way I litmus test this with people when I speak is I say to this group, the group, quote, I want you to think of the thing that you've done in your life thus far that you're most proud of. Not your wife having a baby, but something that you did personally. Maybe a degree, a triathlon that you ran, or a mountain that you climbed, or a person that you saved from drowning, or whatever it is. But think of the thing that you have done for your life that you're most proud of. So you got that thing that you're most proud of now. Next question is the thing you did, was it difficult or easy? Was it a little bit difficult or was it really difficult? Stand up if the thing that you're most proud of is also the most difficult thing that you've done thus far in your life, end quote. And Stan goes on to say, and most everyone in the room stands up every time. So that's the proof. If you want to have a life that you're proud of and do things that you're proud of, then you've got to do hard things and not complain when you take difficult and not complain when you got difficult. Here's one more thought from Stan. He says, happiness is I got what I want. Unhappy is I don't have what I want. So happiness is things are going my way. I'm not a big fan of happiness. I think we need to dig much deeper. I don't think we should pursue happiness. I think we should pursue meaning and purpose. I want you to wake up and feel like your life matters, which is very different than wanting to be happy. Because the matter is, things are not going to go your way, and there are going to be times when you're not happy. And there's still a reason to go on, even when you're not happy. I can tell you I've had extended periods of my life where I was not happy, but I didn't want to end my life because I still felt like there was something that needed to be done. So having a sense of meaning and purpose, I think, is really what you should be pursuing, not happiness. Happiness is like the weather. It's fleeting. So there's two separate perspectives. One's from Dr. Selk and one from Dr. Beecham. Dr. Selk talks about happiness. Dr. Beecham talks about purpose and fulfillment. In my opinion, in my experience, both are important. And you can prioritize both. You can prioritize joy and happiness in your life as well as growth and purpose and meaning. And we simplify that down to the elevated choice, which is be kind and useful, do hard things. Right? We simplify it down to what would the highest and best version of myself do? We simplify it down to the question, does this bring me joy and or growth? And my challenge to you is to prioritize work, activities, okay, your health and fitness, your relationships, everything in your life, run it through that filter. This principle of is, does this bring me joy and or growth? And my challenge to you is identify those things and really, really, really prioritize them and say no to almost everything else that doesn't fit that criteria. To me, that's the secret of life. My challenge to you also is to do everything you can to bring joy and growth to others, to model the elevated choice of being the highest and best version of yourself, which is being kind and useful, doing hard things. I wish you a life of joy and growth. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.